at the highest.
And in the final bout of the world, Erislandy Lara with Vanes Martirosyan.
Year-old Erislandy Lara cut his teeth in the vaunted Cuban amateur system starting at the age of 12. Yakruth Johnson, who suffered a heart attack and passed away.
The number wins coming by at already 153 1/4 pounds.
By the way, Trout
in that fight, as you were alluding to now, both men, let's face it, both these men like to counterpunch and box. Trout knew it, and this time they
black with red. Trout in Mexico has a lot of family force supporting him.
Breaking down each other.
Trout didn't get there. They think body punchers showed that.
Pause in the pack. Canelo's older brother, Rigoberto Alvarez, in the Cuban system.
I think everybody, some people believe he was ripped off against an amateur as well.
Coming off.
A very tough fight.
He's had a tough calendar year ending. Cotto, the fight against Canelo, Alvarez, and hostile.
Hey, that's quite a trio to figure out.
To unfold despite what they spoiled after what we saw with Vika and Durrell. Starting science, and you're a boxing purist, you should love this fight. To them trying to figure out.
Trevor has to put a little bit more pressure on because I think this suits Lara. This pace will suit Lara fighter. So this pace will definitely suit, push him back a little.
He said he's more equipped to do that, right?
Round, but against a guy like Trout as he lands.
And Lara is convinced. He said, I think I'm the puncher.
Second round.
You know, you can hear the fans booing. You know, I think they want.
And I think also they're seeing.
Final minute of the second round. There's a right hand from Lara. Trout looking for the body. Really, I mean, using their shoulder, not giving either.
Lara,
body puncher, and he's got all those. He fights that way. And Trout does.
Of success.
We are through 2 rounds here.
Anthony, appreciate it. You'd like a rematch real quickly?
Definitely.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Mo, back out to you.
All right, Jen, thank you. More down. And now Trout beginning to walk down.
For the counter punches, and there's the left hand. Himself understands it, guys.
Game though, you know, making him fall short.
So being relative, Lara doing a good job defensively to block the majority of those shots.
So they're not setting any land speed records for number of punches thrown. You saw some of it as you hosted the weigh-in.
Very, very similar to, you know, they've got both got very. The key is, you know, a lot of feints and maybe throwing a little bit more punch.
Fighters, so that's the left hand. And a lot of lefties, especially in the amateurs, it's a different thing, contributing to the fact that you.
Domination landing by Lara, who comes forward again. Trout trying there out.
And Louis Burke, who was involved in not being slugfest.
There's 30 seconds of the 4th round. There's another left hand by.
The difference is slight. There's the Trout Masters.
Trout's throwing the jab out there, but Lara doing
smart. He's boxing a smart game. Like I said, it's a game of chess. This is one misses, the other comes back with a counter shot, and they've both been.
Lara's had a great round thus far.
And you know from the Cuban boxers, you have to beat a catch him.
150. No, Trout would love a rematch against. A draw against one of the champions
that many think Polina won. So he against Paul Williams,
picking off Trout. There's the 1-2 combination. Trying to maintain control in the center of the ring was the runner. Not seemingly the case. Trout's trying to find Lara.
Lara stops him with the 1-2 combination, and then there's Lara. Very close, of course, but still, Lara seems like he's done the better work. And Trout has seeded the strategy round.
Yeah, Lara, and defensively he's a better.
Scores, courtesy of our show, bounces off the.
Trout's doing is, and he's fighting low. I counterpunch him.
Like you said, you know, he's giving him a chance by, you know, leaning down and putting his head low.
Well, that's hard because Lara, you know, but I just think Lara
will entirely drop his gloves. Is it to say, are we going to fight or what? And now
I've seen him in the previous fights. He's had success by doing that, but he just
that makes him so good. I mean, we see it time of champion Amir and
Lara has great look. You know, he gets out of trouble, he hits moves, and it's his footwork that gets him out of trouble. Really, that's a different way. So I think with Trout has to cut the ring a little bit.
The body before Lara got out of.
Yeah, definitely. You want to see the pace pick up, but you know, it is a great technical fight, and you know, a lot of boxing fans would agree with me.
Right. Casual fans
He's doing what he's doing best, and Lara is just beating him where.
hand to the side of Lara's head. There's looking for the openings.
Trout has been short with his...
8.5 now remaining in the 6th round count.
But Lara were decided.
Put the pressure on, and Trout is a very similar fighter to Lara. They are both counter fighters, but one have to move forward. He's gone a little bit higher, and he's starting to get more success. He's catching Lara some shots now.
Stairs to the body.
The Cuban fighters, you know, they always had soft bodies, so maybe that's why, you know, he's throwing them big body shots.
Yeah, they haven't been that effective, though. He hasn't thrown that. The problem...
I mean, Lara has great footwork, and Lara's not letting him.
Another level rounder in the super welterweight division as Lara.
Well, things didn't go perfectly for Austin, though, in the last round. There's
a pair in the black with red.
it's exactly the same number of punches where the margin is so small that even though if it seems
Are the unofficial scores at the mid-fair.
so I have a wider...
No, you have it the same as... sorry,
Yeah.
Ymir and Steve. I
Exactly.
apologize.
So we'll get this straight, folks.
The key here is commitment. Trout is coming forward, but won't. And Lara, he has an interesting habit. He lands a left hand, and then what axiom is true because Lara, Trout has been.
Yeah, Canelo. So you're right. This is
Boxes, and you know, trying to. So maybe that's where it is.
there is especially doing his best, and he's giving.
And again, coming off a firefight to open things off. Mika and Anthony Durrell, a definite contrast, but this is the sweet science. Two of the very best box crowd here came to see more action of Trout. One jab, but as you mentioned, like he wants to.
Kind of slapping with the right hook, and he did that there a moment ago.
And Austin, no doubt.
Opponent's punches. Should we mention an equation here?
There's a combination. He just takes that little step back out again, just makes him tying him up. Yeah, he's boxing a very smart fight.
He's been a little more economical.
Oh, Erislandy Lara, stiff left. And there's a up a bit here in round 8. Another
One step away from hitting his get out, he's out.
And Lara is allowed to be able to land these counter punches.
Left hook, I mean, they're the main shots he's throwing.
There's a nice left hand by Lara. As we go in.
So, while that's not a monstrous difference, it's enough.
Loss in coming back.
Pick someone that you want to look good against. Whereas Austin Trout just Canelo. But you know, I mean, styles make fights, and I think this is the wrong style for Austin Trout.
I'm going to come forward. I trained at Burke, and I think they're terrific. But why? Why would you decide to be the one to come forward when you're both counterpunchers? Expect them amazing. You've ceded the high ground.
Trout shelling up and observe the 9th round. Just unable to, but again, single shots, pot shots, and Lara just waits for him.
And it just shows, you know,
Alfredo Angulo punishment comes in.
Both these warriors, 10th round here in.
just an awkward pressure on. Does put pressure on and start pushing Lara back instead of giving him the distance and giving
His way in either. And the reason for that is simple.
Folded, maybe you should list off.
You can't change in one that kind of fighter. It's not going to happen.
Through 9 rounds, here is the unofficial.
Rounds in which neither man has before. I don't know. Well, I said it there.
The 10th round and in the range, throwing Erislandy Lara, who just continues.
yeah, good jabs for. If he doubles it up and gets in the inside and then starts going, so definitely, especially if you're fighting a good boxer.
5 seconds of the round, and just when Austin Trout is beginning to want to put on
Some ways in this round, on the end of the round, but
follow up, tries.
so
Although it resulted in the judges getting suspended.
yeah, against Williams.
Now, if they would only maybe touch each other up a little more, there's jab
I mean,
of Austin Trout.
Critically, what I mentioned before, Trout though, because the way this 12, he certainly has not done very few during this fight.
Right hand by Lara in the final.
Trout might be a punch Lara would.
And the fancy footwork.
It's a powerful punch for him.
Erislandy Lara, the 30-year-old from Shields Gym, and in fact, they crossed paths at the Plex, to the high altitude of Mexico, and Trout is staggered and dropped. for the second time in his career. 4, 5, 6, 7. The 11th round. Lara now on the
Beautiful clean right hand. Left hand by Lara. And then again. And he's getting lots of success with that backhand.
Yet to regain his legs. Now trying to the attack, but a big round for Erislandy.
If he could hit Trout right, he could knock him out. Well, he knocked him down. Again, it was the straight left hit, Lara, a rangefinder, and then was able to land the straight left. And again, because Austin Trout has come in so low, ranker leading up to this fight, this was the knockdown in the 11th round to get him with these straight left hands, and that one in the 11th round was a huge punch that put a more available target for Lara. And there was the left hand, which was on the temple area, so there could have been some equilibrium issues as well for Austin Trout.
So
because I believe Trout is a great fighter. And
a fairly big margin, the biggest with the 2-point round. Is we anticipate the judge completely unofficial
plan, sticking the jab, utilizing the footwork, and pull out what has to be a miracle shot here. Because
we just saw the toughness of Austin. Clearly, it's your fighter.
And for Austin Trout, how important is it?
It was a devastating backhand by Lara. With many big shots to win this round, wants to just win and nice and easy.
The slick Erislandy Lara, Austin Trout in the Lara.
Will put rate